Journalists, on Wednesday, police spokesman Chituma stated also that the team held a procession against police advice, leading to a fracas that is also in which no president was injured. But that is something also which we need to also understand when it comes to accession, because the laws are very clear. Where under the Constitution, where we have also the provisions that's for freedom of association and freedom of movement, that means you're entitled to actually movement, and that's where issues of demonstration come in. But how do you allow this go on without also the security coming out to also take us as people who are bad? That means if at all you are going to be engaging in these activities, first of all, you must ensure that it is with the consent of security forces. It shouldn't be you alone. It must be also in the notice of police. That means if at all you are feeling very much bad about certain things, because if you look at the ongoing march to Parliament today, you realize most of it has been blocked. Could it be because people have not informed the other security agencies like police, because police is supposed to be in the know and then provide a security for each and every person out there? But how do we make sure that these activities not also be blocked? Because sometimes people feel they are being blocked because they belong to a certain group of maybe opinion. But is that right? We make sure that these activities do not also happen, and I will be also expecting Resident City Commissioner Salim Komakech also to throw a light into such activities, because recently before him coming to Arua, we were able to also see the march to being blocked. He will be explaining to us why these activities not also happen the way they are also being planned. Why don't government also allow these activities? He will be explaining that to us. He will be also letting us know of many other government programs out there. But as we move on with this story of Kyagulanyi, I can really confirm to you that he has been discharged. Right now he is at his home in Magere. But we wish him all the best, and we hope also he will be recovering steadily in there. And that's something we did see happening, and I hope at the end of the day he will be getting that kind of treatment that also he also deserves in there. But many issues will continue to arise from that story in there, where a lot of activities are still continue to also come out, where Robert Kyagulanyi still insisted that, where we also did see police also insisting that Kyagulanyi was not shot but got injured as he was trying to rush into his car. But what happened in the due process, and what really came out of these tear gas canisters, these are things you need to find out and you need to investigate. Because to really do that is really against the rights of a person, because as a citizen you do not have a right to torture, and I believe this is also really a kind of torture against also his right in there. Now police have also really insisted that the party principal, that's for the National Independent Party, that's Robert Kyagulanyi Ssentamu, was also known as Bobo, was not shot by their officers, and that is something also really which today we see. Are they trying to run away from also the institution being pinned? Because today the laws are very much clear. Who is this individual? Who was behind this shooting? These are things that now we need to also understand, because at least today Uganda Human Rights, if at all they had to also have this person maybe dealt with, it has to be individual responsibility. The one who pulled the trigger is actually the one who is supposed to be held responsible, but who exactly is this officer? Because I believe this officer must be known, because by the time of deployment the commanders must have known whom they deployed on ground during also that operation in there. But that's something also which we feel needs to be investigated. At the end of the day, the responsible officers as well need to be brought to book, because we need to find out who exactly was behind this inhuman act. These are things that we need to find out, and we need to also give answers to, because if at all we do not also have the, maybe this investigated, it may not be Kyagulanyi alone. Next time it may be another person out there, because we have seen people really being injured during riots. We have seen people innocently being injured when police is also going to arrest people. These are things that also I feel at the end of the day such individuals need to be brought to book, need to be also investigated, because if at all we're not going to be doing that, then definitely many people could actually continue suffering out there. And at the end of the day, that is where we are going to be seeing people also really suffering innocently and without them getting justice, because today it may not be easy for them to also prosecute the whole institution. But individually, if at all this person is known, we can hold them responsible. And just like also the recent one whom we saw arresting these women, I believe the way they arrest these women were a bit harassing. And I believe if at all real investigations are done into this matter, then this book can be brought to book. At the end of the day, such officers also really need to also learn that dealing with civilians must be dealt also in a kind of really massive way, because you are there to protect first of all the citizens and their property. And that is how, at the end of the day, people also need to listen to also what the laws are saying. And that means if at all you are to engage in these activities of which you feel disgruntled, then engaging the responsible officers, first of all, is very much key, because before moving on to that road, you must also let police know of, so that solely police can be the ones to also provide you security, because we have seen this happening. Last year, I remember last year but one, when we had what we call the anti-homosexuality campaigns in Narua City. These protests were guided by security, and we were able to also see security providing really guidance to people right away from Narua primary school playgrounds up to OPM, where they marched and they were being protected by police. That means it is a possibility that if at all you engage these security agencies in the right way, then they will be in position to also provide the security you need. And that is how, at the end of the day, we are going to be seeing people's property being protected, because during some of these riots, sometimes those who engage in these activities also really make the activity very much bad, because they end up looting people's property, they end up beating other innocent people, and that is how sometimes police feels this is very bad. And we are going to be also really stopping that. We also really with that discussion in there as we get move on with the show. But I really want to inform you that a lot of these activities need to be also investigated. Where Bobby Wine's injury also really, and now we are seeing also the police are focused on medical investigation. That's another story that we are seeing right now, where the police have announced their focus on conducting thorough medical and professional investigation to determine also really the cause of the injuries sustained by Robert Chagulanyi Sentamu, also known as Bobi Wine, during the September 3rd of 2024 alteration, that is in Wakiso district in there. While addressing journalists on Wednesday at police headquarters, that is in Naguru, Kampala police spokesman Rusoke Chituma said conclusion will only be drawn by professional findings, including medical reports and investigations in relation to the matter. He said so far the police have been condemned, and as a force solely they will remain calm until investigations into the matter are complete. And that is how at the end of the day they feel this matter will be addressed in there. Now there's an occurrence that's in Bulundo, that's in Mukira municipality, where Chagulanyi was also reportedly injured in his leg in something which I believe is suspected to be a tear gas canister. But what exactly happened? Who pulled the trigger? These are things we need to find out. And now Chituma said social media videos are circulating showing Chagulanyi stumbling and also apparently tear gas also near his car, saying police are solely professional approach and they will not really rely on these videos to draw conclusion that is on what exactly could have happened. Now according to police reports also issued, Chagulanyi had also attended a Thanksgiving ceremony at also an invitation of a lawyer, Judge Musisi, and event concluded also without any incident. And really we did see the same lawyer also appearing on one of the televisions in this country saying that it wasn't also a Thanksgiving ceremony as also alluded by police. Where do we find these contradicting statements? Because on this other hand, we are saying it's a Thanksgiving ceremony. On the other hand, it's not. What exactly happened? These are where we need to also see who is lying, who is also not also being honest here. Because if we look at this matter, then it calls for thorough investigations, where we now expect police to also carry their investigations against themselves to find out what exactly could have gone wrong. But this is where also we need to also find out, can we expect, what do we expect? And how is information going to be impactful at the end of the day? Because we expect now the police to investigate themselves, because I believe within the police force there are detectives who can actually do this job very much well in there. I believe in them, and I hope at the end of the day we are going to be getting that conclusive and detailed information in relation to what could have happened and the events that led to this. And that's where we did see Chagulanyi also after leaving the venue, and his team initiated that's a procession that's toward Bulindo town, despite police advice against it, according to Chituma, and something which also was rejected by NUP. And he continued also also the police intervened to prevent the procession from blocking the road. And according to also that's something also which eventually led to the confrontation that's with the police in there. And according to police, 3 of their officers were stoned and 1 seriously also injured during the confrontation with Bobi Wine. And that's where we did see the supporters also restoring that's the police in there. And that is something which we feel must also be also talked about, because if at all you look at all this, then you will be realizing that also a lot of issues continue to also happen in relation to this story, which I feel at the end of the day we need to find answers to, and we need to also investigate what exactly could have happened. And that means within also NUP, let them find out who are these supporters who were also able to also stone the police officers, if at all it so happened. Because if at all that did not happen, then what is NUP going to be doing? Because many of times the procession of NUP, many times we see police coming out to also allude a lot of issues here and there. But how do we see that this does not go on as also is always said? these are things also which I feel the leaders also really need to come out before we come out and blame police. Let them come out and also address these small issues within their parties. And that is how exactly also we did see UPC coming out to condemn the act of also the police on also really no Robert Chagulanyi Sentamu. We did see that also happening where UPC party came out to condemn this act also of police also that is also injuring that's Robert Chagulanyi Sentamu in there. We hope at the end of the day this is where we also expect justice also for the party principal in there, and at the end of the day we expect also those officers to be brought to book if at all also those supporters turned the police. Let police also get justice. Let those supporters be also put behind bars, so that also it is a balance, other than also blaming one party in there. But we hope also this matter is being investigated, and at the right time, I will be coming still to give you more information if at all there's any development in relation to that later on in there. Now, Buganda Road Court, also Chief Magistrate, has issued that is criminal summons against Kira Municipality Member of Parliament and Kampala Deputy Lord Mayor, that is Nyanjura, and Semujunganda. That's already a story we are seeing in the paper this morning, where the presiding Chief Magistrate, that is Ronald also Kaizi's decision was prompted by the state authority submission after Ibrahim Semujunganda and Miss Dori Nyanjura failed to appear. That is in court. That's on September 4th for mention of their cases of allegedly also being a common nuisance, and that is why we did see them also not appearing. Now police has also issued that summons against the MP and the deputy led mayor in the. But what does that mean? Could it be contempt of court? Because if court issues you a call and then you not hit to it, then I believe that is already a criminal act which also can lead you to jail. And now Mr. Semuju and Nyanjura, who also appeared on, who also be granted bail, face charges of common nuisance, contrary to section 148, subsection 1 of the Penal Code Act, together with 12 others. And now the 12 others are Nicholas Kamara, the MP for Kabale Municipality, Harold Kaija, the Secretary General, that's at Forum for Democratic Change Party. We have Wahab Musinguzi, a lawyer, Eric Waswa Kawesa, a legal assistant. We have Fiona Kabaiza, a businesswoman, and Zalika Mutesi, a businesswoman as well. And we do have Gilbert Naebale, a hawker, and Innocent Turinayo Ngabo, a sales agent that is also ready for Zuku. We have Beston Mutambi, a student, and Ronald also Kaginda Mugume, Farida Nangozi, and IT officer Ikamenete, and many others who also being put also under the charges in there. Now, according to the charge sheet of the group and others still at large, on 5th of August 2024, a Kampala district did not also act unauthorized by on law by with also rowdy blocking walkways, which obstructed also and inconvenienced the public in the exercise of their common right, thereby also being arrested and also be charged. That is for the law of common nuisance. That means you can be also arrested for common nuisance. Today, we see you moving with a lot of noise in the streets. The common nuisance is a law that you need to open up your eyes on. Otherwise, Arua government prison is still not full. And that means for those youth who have been also causing a lot of conflicts in Arua city, where they have been used also by some people, I really want to say this. We need to also desist from tendencies of us being used for other people's interests. Yes. Somebody is going to be giving us that small amount of 10,000, 15,000, 20,000. But at the end of the day, how are we also really fighting for the rights of others? How are we also really impacting on the society? Because you are going to be also really fighting against somebody who is really, I must say, is fighting for your rights. Let's talk about corruption, because the recent demonstration which we saw yesterday, but yesterday we also saw another one. The RC also will be throwing a light into that in the next also 6 minutes in there. But I don't want to say how do we demonstrate and who are the people who bring these demonstrators to the mayor's gardens, because each and every time there's a problem in Arua city, we see young people coming to mayor's gardens, and these are my fellow young people. How are we also coming up on really to move on these issues, and who is also really those funding these also demonstrations? Because many of times really we are getting to also doubt these demonstrations because somebody living in Kenya Ward demonstration solely on issue of another person in Ivory Division, really it's quite alarming. And these are things solely which I feel at the end of the day must be investigated, and then also answers should be found out to these issues, because really many of the times we see this happening and we do not understand what exactly is happening in relation to these also demonstrations. And I'll leave that story aside, and to summarize this hour with also the security directs Chinatown to hire counter-terrorism officers or remain closed is another story that we are seeing in the monitor right now, where the joint security agencies have tasked the owners of Chinatown supermarket also store to hire counter-terrorism officers from Uganda Police before reopening, and it came shortly after the newly opened Chinatown store in Lugogo, Kampala, which attracted thousands of shoppers throughout the weekend. Also temporarily closed on September 2nd in the evening. Also that is due to pressure of terror attacks, and that's also where we did see a lot also coming out from the U.S. Embassy. And I believe also it was timely to also close this China store, because if you really see the kind of images circulating from also that side in there, then you will be understanding how this is dangerous and how risky it is. That is terror attacks, because you can see really people coming in numbers to actually buy merchandise at affordable prices. Because you look at also today where people are going to be buying, what mostly people are buying are actually the gadgets, which also the people feel are being sold at half price. And I believe that also has its own negative repercussions in relation to the issues of security. And once we not address that, then our lives are going to be in danger. First of all, we are going to be risking our lives, that is to these bomb blasts. And if at all police does not also have this, then that would be very, very much bad. And that's why we did see police also coming out to ask the owners and also those running the store to also ensure that police officers under the counter-terrorism are actually employed, those who put on black, actually employed within the facility to make sure that nothing bad happens. Now a joint security also team comprising of Uganda Police Force and also the Uganda Police Force have intervened temporarily to close the mega store. That is already due to prevent terror threats, and one officer already was seen urging hundreds of shoppers to vacate the premises, and that is something we did see happening in there. Mr. Kim Gweru, a private security guard at the store, reported that the massive number of shoppers overwhelmed him also and his team, and some individuals also using the opportunity to steal items. That means it is actually not safe. You look at this facility, which is already just where we had ShopRite, you'll be understanding how big the facility is, and now with the numbers to actually come and buy cheap merchandise, it is risky, because some people are going to be coming in there not to buy but take advantage of the numbers. First of all, to steal, and then secondly to cause terror attacks. The bomb blasts are always there, and really these facilities target such places. In Kenya, we saw what happened a few years ago, where one of the supermarket stores was attacked, and we saw many people were killed. That means this one is also not safe. Calling for police intervention is actually very much critical, and I want to say let police also come out and do the needful in terms of protecting the citizens, right, from when it comes to issues of property, because others are going to be parking their vehicles outside to go in for shopping. If the security is not beefed up, there are those who are going to be coming out to also take advantage of stealing, first of all, from the cars, and then stealing the cars themselves. That is where we are saying security needs to be beefed up, because as Ugandans, usually we love cheap things. We love cheap things as Ugandans, and that is where, if at all you see a place is usually being overwhelmed, just know the prices could be very much low, because as Ugandans, we love cheap property. If at all it is cheap food, you always see the hotels being very much filled to capacity. If at all they are selling cheap clothes, you will know with the numbers not usually lie when it comes to telling us how prices are being afforded at affordable prices. And that's where we're going to be also posing the discussions. This is the KOKOLIRIKO live show, the Thursday edition, and we are still going to be giving you what happens in Arua City and outside Arua City, and I will be touching later on in the ongoing health nursing schools tournament in Arua City. I will be touching in there. Remember, the games shall be concluding tomorrow, and I will be also informing you when these games and which stages they have already reached into later on. But for now, we are going to be taking a short commercial break that will be ushering us into the second hour, where we shall be joined by Salim Komakech, the resident city commissioner for Arua City, to give us the progress in his first week in office and what exactly has been also happening when it comes to issues of also the governance, because he is the one representing government in Arua City. He is the president of Arua City, and we hope he will be giving us also really information in relation to what continues to happen in Arua City. But I can inform you, yesterday there were ugly scenarios that happened in also really one of the areas where we are seeing prison officers and prison warden living. He will be touching that later. And for now, we take a short commercial break that will be ushering us into that discussion. Stay tuned.
West Nile TV, lighting up the region.
Bellingham, Vinicius Jr., Lamine Yamal, Antoine Griezmann. La Liga comes to Star Times.
A wild celebration!
The big stars, the tiki-taka football, Real Madrid and Barcelona live in your living room.
Real Madrid, the team of dreams!
Catch all 380 games live and in HD on Sports Premium Channel 259 and Channel 246 starting this August 15th. Subscribe to StarTimes Classic or Smart Bouquet at 36,000 Uganda shillings to enjoy the football experience affordably. StarTimes Football and Limited Passion.
West Nile TV, lighting up the region. West Nile TV, lighting up the region.
Bellingham, Vinicius Jr., Lamine Yamal, Antoine Griezmann. La Liga comes to Star Times.
A wild celebration!
The big stars, the tiki-taka football, Real Madrid and Barcelona live in your living room.
Real Madrid, the team of dreams!
Catch all 380 games live and in HD on Sports Premium Channel 259 and Channel 246 starting this August 15th. Subscribe to StarTimes Classic or Smart Bouquet at 36,000 Uganda shillings to enjoy the football experience affordably. StarTimes Football and Limited Passion.
West Nile TV, lighting up the region.
Well, good morning, the viewer of West Nile TV. This is still the KOKOLIRIKO live show on West Nile TV channel 477 and on 0073 on Zuku. We take this opportunity to welcome you back into our second hour of the discussions, and I've been joined by Salim Komaket, the resident city commissioner for Arua City, who will be giving us current status of security in the city. Just 1 week into the office, already 2 demonstrations have welcomed him. You're most welcome, Mr. Salim.
Thank you, Farish. Viewers out there, good morning.
Good morning. Yes, as earlier on I said, you are just 1 week into office, but already 2 demonstrations have welcomed you into the city. First, give us that current status of security in Arua City ever since you took up.
First of all, I think the 1 week I have been in office, what we are calling demonstration, I don't call it demonstration. It could be just people coming to the office of the RDC. And when visitors are coming, they don't come as a demonstrator.
Okay.
They come as visitors with different reasons, because this is a public office anyway. So the one you would want to interest yourself in yesterday, people who are seeking for answers in relation to an incident that happened in around prison cells, Central Division, where it is alleged that a group of people went and conducted a mob action on 2 individual young men, and these young men, unfortunately, one of them passed on. One of them is still battling for his life at the regional referral hospital. So that's the incident that happened. But Farisha can tell you authoritatively that Arua City is relatively awash with the issues of mob actions or mob justice, where a suspected thief will be arrested by a mob and conducts justice without following the legal procedures on this suspect. And the victims of mob justice, in most cases, will end up being innocent victims. They may have not participated in a crime for which community will be lynching them. So the issues of mob actions in Arua, I think, is featuring quite prominently on our issues of security occurrences. A thing which I believe the people of Arua needed to desist from, that if you are not contented on a matter, if you have arrested a suspect for any nature of criminality, you do not have to take the law in your hands. You can conduct this arrest and eventually hand over to the relevant authorities, and that is the police.
Okay.
Yes, it is the police that has the mandate to process a criminal and produce this criminal
before courts of law.
Before courts of law.
You know, many of times people do not have trust in the police system. That's why they end up resorting to mob action. That's what usually comes out from them.
I don't think that...
I want to give you an example. With the ongoing community members who have united themselves to make sure that they deal with the criminals. Once they arrest them, they usually hand them over to police. But then usually they hand over with a lot of warnings that we don't want to see these people coming out of the cells until further notice. And yet courts also really have to pin these people with evidence. What can you really say about that? What can community members understand from that? Because the committee members seem not to be understanding what the laws are saying, but they really have rumors, they have doubts, but not understanding what exactly the laws are saying.
Arua City has over 1,400 people in our different prison facilities. I would not want to subscribe to the notion that these 1,000 plus people who are in incarceration are a result of civil litigation. Majority, if not all, as a result of criminal procedures. And you cannot do criminal justice systems without including the role of police. So when the public, according to your information, say they are not happy with the police, I think the public should build and invest a lot of trust in the police.
Okay.
Because it is playing a critical role in curbing criminality within our society. But also in criminal justice systems, it is not only police that processes a criminal to be convicted in court. It also involves us, members of the public. It involves police itself to carry on successful investigations. It also involves the Directorate of Public Prosecution, otherwise called government lawyers, or you would want to call it public lawyers, that must defend the interests of the state or the interest of government. It also involves the judiciary, the judges, the magistrates. So, when you're talking about public agitation leading to taking into law into their own hands, and frustrating their vengeance on police, I think that is a bit of a misplaced anger, and I am here to allay fears in the public that police has always strived to do its best. Where it has fallen short, me as a coordinator of security organizations and agencies in the city, we will always call for meetings internally and ensure that individual mistakes are corrected and they do not overshadow or overcrowd the good deeds that the institutions of Uganda Police has always been doing.
Okay.
So I don't want to belong to the school of thought that mob action is a justified means of curbing criminality in our society. And by the way, I also need to be quick to add that there's nothing wrong in members of the public to carry out vigilance and conduct what they call public arrest. But once you have reached that, you have conducted an arrest, your role is to immediately hand over these suspects to police. Not to office of the RDC, not to prison, not to police, not to court, but to police nearer to you. And the police knows what to do according to the law.
So how can we make people understand that there's a chain to be followed, of which we cannot skip police?
We should continue on rigorous sensitization of the public so that they don't fall short of the expectations of the laws of Uganda. And remember, mob justice in itself is a crime. So two wrongs should not lead us to think that we are right.
Okay.
Two, when you conduct mob justice and you think that you will go scot-free, once you have been identified, the law will catch up with you. That one will not compromise on it. So that is another thing that we need to think about very seriously. We will continue sensitizing members of the public, but the public that already know that there's a law of the country available around, we do not need to go extra mile and conduct our own justice systems, taking shortcut to eliminating people's life. And I also want to add that to kill somebody, in Uganda there are procedures. For somebody to be killed, for a criminal to be killed, there's a procedure put in place. And these are the things I have been telling you just a short while ago. That if Kumakech Salim must be killed, it has to follow legal procedures. I have to present it in court. Court pronounces me, sentences me to death.
Okay.
And the death is equally prescribed. The judge can prescribe the manner in which I should be killed. Police has no powers in killing me. The prisons has no powers in killing me. The person that can pronounce, even a magistrate, grade 1 or chief magistrate, has no powers in pronouncing me dead. It is a judge of a high court and the other superior justice systems after the high court. Those have the powers of pronouncing me to be killed. But also, beyond them, the person who can say, Kumakech Salim, yes, you have been pronounced to be killed by the court of law, by the courts of law, but I am setting you free.
Okay.
Is none other than the President of the Republic of Uganda. This one is provided in the Constitution. Yes. It is provided in our law. The President can have what they call prerogative of mercy. So me as Kumakech, superintending in Arua City as the representative of the President, I also don't have powers of the President.
Okay.
To say, Farish, you are sentenced to death and therefore you should be set free. No, I don't have that power. That power is vested in only the person of the President.
Okay. So now brings me to the question of how are you going to be telling this narrative where people believe every suspect is a criminal? This is exactly what's happening at Arua City, where without any evidence, you're a criminal. Arrested on the streets, taken behind bars, and with a stern warning, if we see you on the street, we are going to be killing you.
I want to say this, that we only need to be patient. Once you have arrested somebody, please hand over this suspect to police for processing the file, investigating, and forwarding this file to the resident state attorney. And your role as a vigilant member of society within Arua City, you ought to follow to ensure that the investigating team of police are actually bringing pieces of evidence together and ensure that even the evidence you are bringing as members of the public are sufficient enough to aid investigators to secure prosecution.
Okay.
Once we secure prosecution, you should also be in a position to present yourselves as witnesses of the state before courts of law, so that the prosecuting team should find it convenient
Okay.
to convince the magistrate and the judges to secure conviction.
Okay.
And this is a very simple role members of community can really play.
Okay. Still in relation to the members of community taking up and also supporting security forces in ensuring that security in Arua City, I can confirm to you, you're coming at a time where the community members have championed the issues of taking security as a key concern. Why am I saying this? Before you came in, Arua City used to be a no-go zone where you could hardly move with your smartphones during daytime, where you could hardly move with handbags. Young people could grab the bags from you on motorcycles, but that is now history. It's no longer happening in Arua City. But now, the question is, many of these people, once you move the prison cells and visit them, they will claim that they were innocently arrested. Should we say these people were innocently arrested, but they're indeed criminals because now we are seeing some sanity? What could you say about that? Because none of them is going to be accepting that they are guilty. Even before courts of law, many of them have denied the charges against them. What could you say about this?
98% of people in prisons, either on remand or on conviction, will tell you that they are there innocently. But we trust the justice system. Once pieces of evidence has been collected together, you have been brought before a judge or a magistrate. These are people with the impeccable period of experience. They cannot say because you have been brought here, therefore you are guilty as brought. You can only be pronounced guilty as processed through the prosecution period.
Okay.
But also, yes, I can say I am innocent until proved guilty. And this should be provided for, is provided for in the law. That's why you find some people are being given a bail, some even are given a bond in police to allow judicial officers and prosecution systems process and bring pieces of evidence together and other irrelevant information. But once you are even taken into prisons facilities, before conviction, before the law, you are still what?
Suspect.
You are still innocent until
proven guilty.
Until proven guilty. So you can only be innocent to a certain period of time. But once you have been convicted, that innocence is no longer applicable.
Okay.
Yes.
That is something the community members now need to understand.
Exactly.
I want to mention that Arua City has a number of areas that have been named as hotspots. I don't know if you have heard about them. Areas like Labsel, San Siro, Arua Primary, Zambia, many others, plus not forgetting Idiofe. All these have been named as hotspots of criminality. As Salim Komakech, how are you going to be making sure that you work with these people to ensure there's some bit of sanity and peace as you take over?
First of all, I have already taken over. First of all, we are going to embark on what we call community security mobilization and sensitization. But we will also do a lot of community engagement on aspects of household income. Because if we don't address the issue of household income, we'll still be doing a cat and mouse chase. Because most of these young people who are engaged in criminality are first of all unemployed, either by themselves or otherwise. So we need to do something that should keep young people gainfully engaged. We'll be doing that.
Okay.
But as we do that, we'll also, because even some people who are gainfully employed engage in criminality. So we'll still do the security bit of sensitization. So we'll be moving from cell to cell to ensure that we do cell community sensitization. This will bring government closer even to our communities. We'll be doing that alongside the rest of the security teams, the city leadership, at the division, at the ward level, at the cell level. We'll be collaborating with the cell chairperson of security, otherwise known as the chairman, LC1.
Okay.
We'll be engaging with them to mobilize their members of community.
Okay.
And we will make it really a matter of responsibility that if you're a chairman, LC1 or Cell 1, how come doors are being broken into and you are not aware? And you are not even aware that so and so could have been the one who caused this break-in. So we will be charging chairperson Cell 1s on their roles and their responsibilities. How come you are not aware of household X housing people you do not know, whose identity you have not known,
Okay.
whose whereabouts you have not registered? You should be able to be telling us as a chairperson of Cell Security Committee, just like I'm the chairperson of Arua Security Committee. We will be doing that, and we will be tasking them to act good on their part. Through this, we shall be able, first of all, to work with the civilian authority to help us pacify areas you are talking about as hotspots.
Okay.
Diofe, Tanganyika, or you call them what, we will be dealing with that.
Okay.
And we will be moving strategically.
Okay, definitely that is where also now we need to also talk about something in relation to the recent terror alerts that were being issued, as we get summarize the discussion in relation to security, because in our last half we are going to be discussing other government programs. But for now, let's talk about the issue of the terror attacks. What would be your message to Arua City, or else this is just for Kampala alone? Are we at risk as Arua City?
The terror threats that has been issued by
The U.S. Embassy.
By the U.S. Embassy and the United Nations, as a security, we don't take that alert very, very lightly. Security, the national security institutions have taken strides and steps in ensuring that our community, the general public, is safe. So there's no need for alarm. People should go about their businesses and ensure that they earn a living for their families, they increase on their household income. But of course, much as security is doing all it takes to ensure that the public safety is guaranteed, it also calls for cooperation from members of the public. The public equally should be vigilant, stay out on the outlook, and report to us any suspicious individuals and elements they think can be there to disrupt the public security.
Okay.
I also want to call upon members of the business community, the hoteliers, people running restaurants,
Okay.
people running guest houses, should register with the critical details of individuals residing in their facilities. Hotels should take the national identification number and other details of their guests. Security checks at the entry of public spaces, it be markets, it be bus parks, it be worship places, must be mounted by managers of these facilities.
Okay.
People boarding buses must, as a matter of priority, should be checked. Both the luggage and also the persons entering these buses. because safety must be first. If we are not safe as a people, even businesses will be jeopardized.
Okay.
Yes.
That is it in relation to the issue of insecurity. Now we are going to be discussing other government programs, but that only will be possible in our last half of today's discussions. And I want to take this opportunity to still ask you to stay with us as we get back to you shortly. As my name is Farish Majid, I'm still with the Resident City Commissioner for Arua City, Salim Komakech, as we get to continue with the discussions shortly from now. Stay tuned as we get back to you.
West Nile TV, lighting up the region.
Vinicius Jr., Lamine Yamal, Antoine Griezmann. La Liga comes to Star Times.
A wild celebration!
The big stars, the tiki-taka football, Real Madrid and Barcelona live in your living room.
Real Madrid, the team of dreams!
Catch all 380 games live and in HD on Sports Premium, Channel 259 and Channel 246. Starting this August 15th. Subscribe to StarTimes Classic or Smart Bouquet at 36,000 Uganda shillings to enjoy the football experience affordably. StarTimes Football and Limited Passion.
West Nile TV, lighting up the region.
Right, it's still the 5th of September. We are already running with the Mba months. At a terrible speed, that means if at all you do not know that we already did the Mba months, really when these Mba months enter, just know that the year is ending, and that's where you need to also make assessments of what exactly you're doing when it comes to economic transformation, what you did, what you have not done, to make sure at least you plan and assess yourself. And that is where we are also going to be discussing the implementation of these programs, which government rolled out to make sure the citizens actually benefit. But are you a beneficiary? What have you done with the money? Or you are yet to also benefit from this money if at all you're not also registered. And also if at all you're already registered, we are still saying all in all, be hopeful that you will get this money when the right time comes. But how you use this money is what exactly matters. I'm still with the Resident City Commissioner, Salim Komakech. And I will be also expecting him now in this last half of the hour to explain and also let us know the implementation of these government programs that are being rolled also in the rural city and the entire country to make sure the citizens actually benefit from these government programs, and we don't want to see these programs going to waste. You are most welcome as we move on with the discussions. Thank you.
Thank you, Farish. Government of Republic of Uganda, through its various initiatives in enhancing and alleviating poverty in our communities at a household level, has various programs. The latest one being the parish development model, but we have also had recently the Vice President of Republic of Uganda launched a project of GROW, especially targeting women entrepreneurs, worth hundreds of billions of shillings. The PDM is in its second financial year of implementation, and every ward is receiving 100 million shillings per annum. That means 100 persons will be benefiting.
Okay.
His Excellency the President, before at the disbursement of the first tranche of this Pillar 3, which is the financial inclusion, directed that each beneficiary should at least get 1 million shillings. It should be 1 million shillings. The repayment period is 24 months. So, and at a very low interest rate of less than, I think, 1%. So if you borrow that money, in 24 months, those are 2 years, you will be using that money without paying any interest. Without paying any interest. The interest will only be at the tail end when you are beginning to pay. Some people are already using this money well. Some even have capacity to pay back this money and continue remaining afloat in doing business. And that is one other area that, for me, I want to applaud the NRM government in thinking for the persons who had no capacity in doing business, and now they are doing business, especially the women. You find previously a woman would go to a saving group, borrowing 100,000, 200,000 to do business, and they have been doing well. When they borrow this money, they are charging interest rate of 10% per month, meaning at the end of the month, when you have borrowed 100,000, you will be returning it 110,000. If you borrowed 1 million, you will be returning it 1.1 million. And that's a lot of money. But the government of Uganda is saying, yes, if you borrowed 1 million, you will only return with less than 1% at the end of the maturation period. That is one. Two, in order to enhance our infrastructural development, I want to thank the government of Uganda that for the first time in the history of West Nile becoming part of Uganda, I think in over 100 years, we were connected to the national grid.
Very true.
And now there's a constant supply of power. If there's any interruption, it is only due to technical fault. Okay, not to a policy issue now. That has been resolved. So very soon you will see a spike in businesses that are really generated through usage of power electrification. Three, government has been rehabilitating Karuma Pakwach, Nebi Arua Road. And if you bother to go between Nebi to Pakwach, the standard is superior than the one that was done about 15 years ago. Government, as directed by His Excellency the President of the Republic of Uganda, has started giving 1 billion shillings for rehabilitation, maintenance of city and district roads. This is over and above the usual Uganda Road Fund disbursement that comes to local government. Now, this 1 billion shillings, if well utilized, can equally improve our road infrastructure in Arua city. If you go to the outskirts in Ayivu areas, we should be having motorable roads using these funds.
But with the rains?
The rains, if the roads are well maintained, if the roads are well rehabilitated, at least it can go beyond 1 financial year before you have gone back to continue maintaining them. Okay. And that calls for serious work from the technical officers charged with the responsibility of these activities. Farish, this is over and above the other government programs. People tend to ignore that security is equally government programs. We continue to pacify our areas and environment to ensure that we are peaceful and running about our businesses. Okay. The investment climate in our area is very good. I want to appeal to those who are watching us online and on their screens. If you have capacity, come and invest in Arua City.
The opportunities.
The opportunities are there. The market is available. If you invest in Arua, the rate of return on your investment is beyond 50%.
That brings the question, maybe as somebody there who may be having the capital, wanting to invest in Arua City, what could be that business you could invest in? Because if you look at Gulu today, we are talking about houses being one of those crucial investments. The apartments actually have been identified as key in there. For us, what would be that advice?
There's a lot of shortage of housing in Arua.
Is it still the same situation?
Because of the potential of businesses coming in from our neighborhood. The South Sudan, the Sudan itself, the Democratic Republic of Congo, even some part of Central African Republic, they are here. I can tell you when I came 1 week ago, I failed to get where to find a decent housing. So there's that available opportunity. There's available opportunity in manufacturing. The electricity which is here now. And when you put your manufacturing facility here, you are sure to transport your good to DRC.
Is it sufficient enough? Let's talk about electricity.
It's very sufficient. Okay. If you're connected to a national grid, okay, we will be in a surplus of electricity. And if Karuma itself is fully operational, then we will be in a surplus of energy supply. So that one is no longer a question. If any investor who has made an attempt to invest in Arua or West Nile and is saying there's no adequate supply of electricity, should let us know in order for us to facilitate him to do that very effectively. Two, there are also, I told you, in the manufacturing. If you set your manufacturing plant in Arua, you are guaranteed shorter and quicker market in the DRC. In Arua, in Ariwara, and other areas. Mahagi and elsewhere. So there's already a supply of market. Because this far east of DRC find it very cumbersome to go to Kinshasa, to go to Kisangani. But we have an opportunity of tapping that market from Arua. And people are watching from outside West Nile. If you are in Acholi sub-region, you are in Lango, you are in Kampala, you are in Teso, come and invest in Arua. Come and invest, establish yourself in West Nile. You will not go wrong.
Okay.
Don't confine yourself in the market of Kampala and you think you will do better. You will do better than you will be doing in Kampala if you establish yourself in Arua.
Okay.
So those are some of the investment areas in health, in education. The opportunities are enormous.
Okay.
In agriculture,
Okay.
farming. We will make a lot of money in Arua.
Okay. Then to that one local investor, what would be your message maybe to them? Because we may have people who have the capital within here, but they're not willing to invest.
Just trust.
Let's say in agriculture.
Trust in the local potential. Trust in the availability of labor. The West Nile people, we are very strong and we are hardworking. Why would we want to export our labor to go and work in Kinyara, in Kakira? Bring that opportunity here. Our young people will work here and they will be proud to support you that you're investing in their area, and they will provide the security for your investment because you have brought the investment closer to them where they will be interacting with their cultures, with their members of community.
Okay.
Yes.
Meaning the labor is readily available.
The labor is available.
Okay.
In excess. Labor is in excess, and that's why we have young people looking for opportunity in the city. They are not getting it. So please help us to secure the environment.
Not for quite a long period of time, we have been known as the greatest labor exporters. That is the regions. You talked about Kakira, you talked about Kinyara. You find that most times the people who are there planting the sugar canes are actually from West Nile sub-region. But when you move this side, we're not much into agriculture. Where could be the problem? Our people are not farming, but on the other side, we have been known as people who can plant. You find out most of the people in there are our sons and daughters and our mothers.
There's also an issue of mindset.
Because here we're not engaging in that active agriculture.
There's the issue of mindset that we need to invest in agriculture. But you can also begin small. As a young person, you can begin small. You can even begin with a hoe. When you use a hoe, you are able to plant an acre. If you are hardworking, you can invest in an acre. And once, for example, if you have planted the cassava in an acre, okay, we have factories here that are adding value to our cassava. They can even come and buy it from the garden. From an acre, tomorrow you will be able to make more than 2 million shillings. If you have made 2 million shillings, you are able now going to say, okay, from 2 million shillings, a tractor here can be hired at 100,000. Let me now expand to 2 acres and I deploy 200,000 from my 2 million shillings I have earned. From 2 acres now, if you planted again cassava, you will now be earning not less than 4 million shillings.
Rest assured.
Rest assured. Factory will come and buy your cassava from the garden. From 4 million shillings, you can first tie your saliva, chase the saliva to go back inside, say, I am not spending this 4 million shillings on anything. Let me reinvest the money. Back. Let me take the money back to my soil. I can promise you, if you invested 4 million shillings, this time now you will triple the money. In 1 year, you will now be talking of about 12, 15 million.
Okay.
This is the science of multiplication of wealth. Wealth cannot be multiplied through witchcraft. It cannot be multiplied through prayers. Wealth can only be multiplied through taking actions, working, and sweating. When you are sweating, then you are praying after, oh dear Lord, help me multiply my sweat into a tangible reality. God will help you. In a church or in a mosque, I have not come across any verse, either in Quran or in the Bible, that said that creation of wealth is a crime.
Okay.
In any case, You make an attempt to go to these worship places, the rich are always preserved the front seats.
Okay. Why is that? Why is that happening? So
It's because they are wealthy. People of God also wants to interact with the people who have capacity to supplement their effort in expanding on the mission. I have always said, wherever I have been, that Farish, you make an attempt to be a witness in a burial taking place within the same community. When a rich man has died, on the same day with a poor man in a village, ask yourself, on whose burial is the bishop most likely to go? Two people died on the same day. Their burial is supposed to take place on the same day, same hour. Or a rich man and a poor man. On whose burial is the bishop most likely to attend? And on earth here?
And perhaps in the district card.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Where would they go?
Exactly. For us on earth here, we believe these are the people who are the most nearer to God.
Okay.
Now, if the man of God who is believed to be much nearer to him has come for your burial, we also have that social belief that this person's sin is most likely to be interceded by the man of God. Okay. And therefore chances of his sins being forgiven and likely to go to heaven very fast are high. So it is a duty of us all to work hard to ensure that when we die, a bishop or a imam or a mufti should be able to do what?
To pray for us.
To pray for us. People have even tried to vulgarize this verse in the Bible. They say what? Happy are the poor, the kingdom of heaven is what? Is theirs. I don't think we're interpreting the Bible well. The poverty the Bible is talking is in the heart, not in the body.
Okay.
We must create wealth and chase poverty. Once you have created the wealth, you are able to help the poor, you are able to build a church, you are able to build a mosque.
Okay. And
the people of God will pray for you that you have done your part.
And you will have a say in the community.
You will have a say. By the rich, a rich person, even if you are very dull, your opinion is always very respected in a community.
Okay, very true.
Yes, if you sit as a rich person in a community, you are discussing, even if your idea is the dullest, people will clap. People will say you have spoken a point. A rich person in a community meeting who has kept quiet for an entire 2-hour meeting, the meeting will not conclude until there is a public demand that what is so and so going to say. And they will demand that you first speak. An eloquent person, but very poor, the opinion is always not very regarded.
Very true. That is why wealth creation is very important.
So, comrades, who have the opportunity to pick a message from my communication, let us rise out of all relative obscurity, strive and chase poverty. You will be an important person in the community. You will be regarded as a leader.
Okay.
I thank you.
So with the government programs like Paris Development Model, in Yoga, the GROW project, if community members use money very well, to what percentage? Poverty bar line to at least the middle income, because many times some people have negative mindset that wealth comes from God.
100% of all the beneficiaries of PDM have the opportunity to get out of poverty. wealth comes from God, but God was not unrealistic to say, go multiply and domineer the what? The world. Yeah, God was not stupid. And for me, I think God will heavily punish us if we die when we are poor. Because He gave us the hand, He gave us the knowledge to use the wealth He has given before us to be better, okay, and glorify Him.
Okay.
I think it is not proper to glorify God in poverty. It is not better. I am better off glorifying God when He has given me knowledge, He has given me wisdom to use what He has given me to be better. Okay. That's when I will glorify God, and I will be proud that God, I am glorifying you after giving me the knowledge to do good on my part.
Okay. As we just remaining with 3 minutes, maybe your parting shots for today.
My parting shot for today is that each and every working day, do something that improves on your income. Do something that earns you a living. You will never be the same again. Each and every working day, greet your neighbor. Love them as you love yourself. Okay. Be your neighborhood watch. Be your neighborhood protector. Cooperate with the security agencies. Provide us information on matters that are of concern to public security. You can reach out to me on 0778
0778
758 298.
298. Let's do it one more time. 0778
758 298.
298. Those are the numbers for the commissioner.
Award 4.
If at all you have anything you need to feel that must be knowing, it could be security issues. Yes. It may be in relation to PDM, just like how many people complain that they have not gotten the monies. The numbers already with you. Feel free to let him know so that so he can enter and jump into action to find out where the irregularity can be and address that. That is why he is here, and we must support him as we move on to make sure that our livelihoods are improved. That brings us to the end of today's discussions. That was the show with me, and together with also the commissioner, that is also Salim Kumakech, and we hope the discussion was very fruitful to you, and you hope you can be able to solely use that information wisely to improve on your status and also your life as well. That brings us to the end. We shall be bouncing back again tomorrow for the Friday edition of the KOKOLIRIKO Live show for this week. I'm out.
West Nile TV, lighting up the region.